What's up, everyone? All right, so in this episode, I'm going to talk about the epic failure of the Truth Social launch. Now, this isn't political. I'm just looking from the perspective of a trader that this doesn't look good. And let me explain what's going on here. So for those that don't already know, DWAC is a special acquisition company. And in the fourth quarter last year, we got news that the intention of DWAC was to merge with Trump Media, the owner of Truth Social, and to bring Truth Social to become a publicly traded company. Fireworks, everyone was super excited, huge buzz. The shares of the special acquisition company went from $10 all the way up to $175 a share before coming down to where they are now at about $55 a share. So one of the things that we learned is that DWAC and these SPACs, they're blank check companies. And so investors will invest in the SPAC not knowing what company that special acquisition company is going to merge with to make public. And so they really have no idea. It's up to the management of that specific acquisition company to make a good decision. And in this case, they chose Trump Media, which was a very hot, trendy idea. It's like the ultimate kind of meme stock in a way. People are so, it's a political statement to own shares of it. It's really a big deal. But the problem is, DWAC only sold about 28 million shares to investors at $10 a share. So they raised 280 million bucks. Well, that's not enough to buy Truth Social or Trump Media. They had a higher price tag on it. And so DWAC is going to merge, at least that's what it looks like. They're going to do this merger, but they're only going to get a small percentage ultimately of the total number of shares of the new company. That's the way the merger is going to work. They're going to get about 13%, a little less than 13%. That's what it looks like right now, 13, 14%, but I think around 12.8%. Now, there's some sort of fuzzy things here, and the investor presentation was a little bit confusing. There were some typos on it. So there's a lot of people that have been a little bit confused about exactly where the chips are going to fall. But it looks like DWAC is going to get about, let's say, 13% of the new company. And so the problem here is that early investors in the DWAC SPAC, first of all, have crushed it. I mean, they're already up 400, 500% just at 55 right now. All right. And that represents, if you extrapolate $55 a share and that being 13% of the company, then you're talking about a company that's worth over $5 billion, $6 billion, maybe more. Now, depending on what the price is when the merger goes through. Now, when we compare that to some other IPOs, let's just look like high level. So when Facebook IPO'd, it was, I think, in 2012, 2013, they had about 850 million active users, 850 million active monthly users. When Twitter IPO'd, they had 100 million active users. Okay, now Twitter IPO'd at a valuation of, I think it was around $15 billion. And Facebook valuation was like $100 billion. So it was huge, but the active users were huge. Now, the problem with DWAC and this botched launch of Truth Social is that when Truth Social initially launched in February, it was the #1 downloaded app in the Apple Store. And 3 days in a row, #1 download app. And I saw it, I was like, you know what? I want to download it. I want to see what this is all about. I want to see what it looks like, what the activity is going to be. You know, I want to know more about this. Well, guess what? I'm on the wait list. Me, along with about 1.5 million other people. I'm sitting here on the wait list, number 300,000, over 376,000. I mean, I'm deep in the wait list. And so I've been on this wait list for over a month. And so what's happened is that the number of downloads of the app has dropped by like 95%. From 175,000 downloads a day for like the first 3 days down to like 5,000, 6,000 downloads a day. Why? Well, no one's talking about it. The buzz is like dropping. Even Trump is not actively using it. He's not putting out like tweets or truths every single day throughout the whole day the way he did on Twitter with his 88 million followers. So how is he going to translate those people coming over Truth Social if he's not using it, even for this small group of people that are on it? I think right now it said that there's like 500,000 active daily users, but that's 0.5% of the number of active users that Twitter had when it IPO'd. Twitter was also producing revenue when it IPO'd. So was Facebook, not Truth Social. So how is it possible? I mean, you take what's 0.5% of a $15 billion valuation, which was the valuation of Twitter approximately, right? I mean, you're talking about a really, really small valuation when you're comparing it to, I mean, the companies that you probably should be comparing it to. It's most closely akin to Twitter, right? But it's clearly much smaller. And so, and then there's another note that part of taking Trump media public was private investment in public equity. So this private investment in public equity allowed a group of investors to invest $1 billion, and they're going to own shares of the publicly traded company. But they got those shares at a huge discount, and they have no lockout period, which means as soon as the company becomes the deal's closed, they're going to be able to sell those shares on the open market for instant profit if they want to. And I mean, kind of why wouldn't they? Because they're going to look at the numbers kind of just the way I did. I mean, they're going to look at them even deeper from they're going to know stuff that I don't know, but they're going to look even deeper at the metrics. They're going to compare it to the best, comps that they can. And they're going to realize that this is probably a good time to cash out. And so what I'm concerned is going to happen is that the current holders of DWAC right now, and I'm not one of them, I don't have a position on it. So my opinion is it's just my opinion. But I don't like the stock because what I'm concerned about is that when the deal closes, it's going to drop. The price is going to fall. And the insiders who are buying the shares right now, thinking that this is going to become, $1 trillion company, it's like they're going to be bag holders. They're going to get caught holding the bag on this. So I'm a big fan of actively trading volatility. If it's volatile, I'm happy to trade it at whatever price it is. If it's because it's selling off and it's giving me a bounce, or if it's because it's going higher, it doesn't really matter to me. But the fact is, in the last month, the stock is down almost 50%, from a high of 100 down to like 55. So it's down 45%. The downloads in the App Store are down over 90%. There's only like 500,000 active daily users. It's not clear that they're making any money from those users right now. Even the person who's this sort of whole brand is around isn't right now actively using the platform. So I don't get it, but it's the biggest win for the insiders, right? So the SPAC insiders, it's a huge win. For the public, for the private investment in public equity investors, it's a huge win. So I feel like it's a huge win for everyone except for who? Retail traders. Retail traders are the ones that are going to get smoked. They're the ones that are going to buy into it thinking it's going to be like the next GameStop, and I don't think that's going to happen. And I mean, even with GameStop, GameStop went all the way up to like 500, and today, let's see, the current price of it is, what is it? We can do a split screen here. So the current price is, $165, which, all things considered, isn't that bad. I mean, it dropped down quite a bit. There's the news of the stock split, it's coming back up. But, you look at DWAC, and it's not pretty. This chart's coming down a lot. It did squeeze up here in February when they had the launch, when it was the #1 download in the App Store. People were like, okay. And I was like, okay, there's a wait list. Like, that's kind of like, it's exclusive. There's like a little bit of buzz. And then a month later, you're still on the wait list. I mean, like, this is not a successful launch. To be a successful launch, you need to go very quickly from wait list to you're in. And lots of people are super active, and interesting things are happening. And there's the controversy, and the media's covering it, and all this stuff's going on. And why couldn't they have done that? It would serve retail traders and investors so much better. It would serve long-term investors, or the investors that are in from, a long time ago, better, right? I mean, it would serve everyone better. Why couldn't they pull it together and have a successful launch? Well, I guess it's harder than it looks. But it's kind of a bummer. And this was a chart here showing the download. So 175,000 for the first 3 days. So I was in there in the first 3 days. I don't remember what day I registered, but I'm number 376,000, whatever. And, now the downloads are just going down more and more and more. Why? Well, there's no buzz, right? People aren't really using it. And it just feels like a real flop. It feels like an epic failure. And I'm disappointed. I mean, from a trading perspective, I'm disappointed for the investors that are going to buy this and, short term, I think suffer losses. I think it's unfortunate. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. Well, you know, as I said before, I'm not a long-term investor. I'm a short-term trader. I'm a day trader. So, you know, at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't really make a huge difference either way. If it's volatile, I'll trade it. If it's not, I won't. I haven't been actively trading it. You know, in this current range here, it just dipped below $55 here just this moment. But yeah, I don't know. Share with me your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm always curious to hear what other people have to say. I saw, you know, an article on Seeking Alpha that's going to be a $1 trillion company. You know, so some people are saying this is what it's going to do, and you've got a strong thesis behind it. Share it with me. Tell me why I'm wrong, why I'm stupid, that, you know, this thing is not a disaster. Maybe this is all part of the strategy. I don't know. It's a funny strategy, but you tell me. Anyways, just my 2 cents. Curious to hear your input. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be live first thing, as always, Monday morning through the week, tomorrow morning, etc. Morning show, right? Live day trading morning show every day between 8:30 and 9:30. At that time, I'll go live and give you guys my watch list for the day, what I'm looking at, what I think's moving, and I may even take some trades. If there's some stocks moving, I'll jump in and ride the momentum. I did trade DWAC in those 2 days where it went from, you know, $10 all the way to 175. It was pretty incredible. It was a wild ride, that's for sure. So some of those may even still be on YouTube if you want to check them out. But anyways, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you for the next episode. And that right there was an entire video with no ads. I don't monetize my YouTube channel with video ads, which means you guys get to enjoy the content. But do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and let YouTube know that this channel is the channel to watch if you want to learn about day trading.